is this pagan storyteller. He dies. Of course, he goes to hell. He goes, he knocks on the door, the devil comes, he opens and says, "Welcome to hell." He goes inside, the devil says, "You're in hell?" He said, "Yeah, yeah." He looks around, beautiful blue skies, white clouds, fucking snow white beach. "Look, this is hell." The devil said, "Yeah, this is hell." He says, "Unbelievable." The devil says, "I got to go do something." He says, "Look around for a while." This guy's looking around, everybody playing naked volleyball, naked golf. I mean, just fucking having a great time. It's just like paradise, you know? So the guy goes to the beach. He's sitting there with a big fat joint, just sitting there looking, man, oh man, this is fucking great. Then he looks out in the ocean. He sees this fire burning out of the water. Fucking hell, what is that? You know, and then all of a sudden he hears these people screaming in the fire. Tormented people screaming out of this fire. And he goes, "Oh my God, what is this?" But that time the devil comes walking up the beach and says, "Well, what do you think of the place?" The guy goes, "Man, it's fucking paradise." He says, "But what are those people screaming in the fire out there for?" And the devil looks and says, "Oh, that's how the Catholics wanted it to be."
Because you don't go and take the cow again on one small boat and you row it over to hell and you start from out there. No, they take already from the existing system where people could breed also thousands of cows. So if you go and put 2 cows on one boat, it's going to take you endless time in order for the people in Vladivostok to be able to take milk from 1 cow. But if you have already like one huge structure existing in one big part of Scandinavia, it was of course simple. So they didn't really live 100% separate from each other.
No.
From the brain, the Sven and Dan people are different from the Udenma system, from the Kela that is there, but from the lifestyle is completely the same. And you see that the agricultural organization of that what comes out from Denmark and Sweden was much higher than from
so the
other
Russians
places.
they're mixed race.
I think we are all mixed.
Yeah, they are kind of mixed.
People who are more mixed and less mixed.
Yeah, on the female side, but on the male side you can.
On the male side you can keep the line,
Yeah.
but on the female side you can't keep the line,
No.
because the lady was always making children with different guys.
Yeah,
So we live according to the sperm line, where in the philosophy of how we explain the world, many times today we take the bloodline because we have only this kind of simple information. Yeah, he starts with a relatively simple story to keep it understandable for us. So he makes the story of the root and the waan, tak, that's 2. You have the story of the different races, blah blah, that's also fixed. But now there has been like all this in-between period where things were changing, where all these people have been affecting each other. So it is not completely black and white that it is like that. We have much color in between what appear over time because people get access to bigger and bigger and bigger land. So they had to think of how we do that.
you can see also the male structure still in whole Russia coming from Lemminkäinen. And that was there first, making that infrastructure along the Volga River, enormous system. Because the Finns are the boat people, fishing, hunting, everything, making nature from most primitive. They can survive. You know, nobody can survive in the cold like Finns, still today. Not possible. Norwegians are strong, but not that strong.
No.
Same with Swedes.
That is why in Finnish they call this Russian Venäläisiä.
Yeah.
And Venä is boat. So they even explain Rusland. They don't say Rusland, they say Rusland.
Yeah.
And they say that the Russian get their name from this rowing, from this Russa.
Yeah, this is different.
But that is one other story than it was originally when it was Rusland, the land of the rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course.
And inside the land of the rose, which was this Roset, the Swede could come and make their agriculture because they supply these people.
They supply.
Yeah. So the infrastructure is there. They always go, and they are in charge of Volga river system, the trade, everything. But now farmer coming there to settle and make farm along this enormous route to make station. Now you have more food, you know, more people, everything. So the more people, the better for everybody. On both sides of the story.
Yes.
And these Swedish people have this cold race cow and horse.
Yeah.
So they can make it up in the mountain. They become the Highlanders in Scotland. This is why Olof Skjoldkonung is Skotkonung. He's the real king of the Scots.
He is the Scot king.
Yeah. So in England, full of goats, fishing people, Anglic, this is Gothic.
Anglia.
Yeah, but Saxon is Danish.
Yes.
So England become populated with warm-blooded horse and big cattle. You know, Bedford and what they call them.
Bedford.
Yeah, but they all come from Schleswig-Holstein story. So Holstein, you see also Texas Longhorn coming out in the end.
From the Longhorn.
Yeah, so from the U-days, you know, from very close to the very first bulls coming out. And the oldest bull, 11,500 years, they find in Denmark. Not in Europe, in Denmark. 2 of them, complete, because they went into a quagmire.
Bog.
Yeah, a bog.
From 11,500.
Yeah,
They find
the oldest Aurochs.
the Uros.
Aurochs, yes.
We call them Uros.
Yeah.
Descent. Maybe a little different later on.
Yeah.
But basically coming from that Uros,
Correct.
which is they found in Denmark. And
Yeah.
they have really found one now.
Yeah, they have big exhibition in National Museum in Denmark, you know. These
far
I am
out.
very pride.
Far out.
They are,
That's really far out.
correct. And now happening, I've been writing also in this archeology forum, you know, many years.
Yeah.
And they find there 2010 or something, 9, 10, something like this. They find in Hanöbukt, Hanö Bay, which is, you know, Skåne, and coming up like this, and there is a little bit Sweden coming out, Götaland, north of Skåne. So before there was water, and some 1,000 years ago water dried out, so it become a land now. But because this was island, it belonged to Dan, not to Sven.
All these islands going down, Borneo.
Yeah, all islands were done because they were hot temper or good temperature. So the aurochs could live there and they could breed from aurochs and they don't make so much smaller. But Swedish, they had to breed very small and hairy and different physique even, you know, coming out. To go up in Dalarna and stand the winter and 35 minus outside and still living inside, you know. It's incredible, these horses and cattle there.
So the Russians are actually half Swedish?
Some of them.
Some of them.
No. It's full Lemminkäinen, Jim. You are right about it, but it's supplied with these other people from Sweden.
And they cross. They had to cross.
They change women.
Yeah.
But they cannot cross.
They can't cross.
Lemminkäinen cannot go away, you see, because father to son keeps going.
Yeah, father.
So it's full of Finns there, and north part of Russia it's all Finn.
Okay.
But Volga story and south of there, the Swedish farmer could settle it and help these people to.
Okay.
That's the story, you see.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
I'm just detailing.
I never heard this story.
No,
about
I know, but I'm just detailing what Ior is saying.
Because I thought they only went west and south.
No, that's the thing.
Because of the added info, like, you know, the basic story, it's go up to 2004. Because then he has been telling his 20-year story.
Yeah.
But Ior, he was there 2005, 2006, still fucked up.
Yeah.
But what can he do? He can only tell more about more detail about the 20-year story that we had already. Basically ready 2004.
So this information came after 2005.
Yeah,
that was the last time I saw him, so I didn't hear this. No, I'm sorry.
I spent about.
I'm sorry about yelling at you.
Listen,
But it's a little bit same like what we had the other yesterday, like I said something, and you was also wondering for a second, and then I realized, yeah, but Jim, he hasn't been in 2005.
2005
Yeah,
was
this
the
kind
last
of
year I
thing.
was that way.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything from
No.
him after
Yeah,
2005.
After accident, you know, I spent more than 1 month every year with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
And when
I spent 5 months with him every
I
year
know.
up to 2005.
but,
Yeah.
but this month when I came there, I had to be his, you know.
Yeah, I remember. Well,
Yeah.
you were there when nobody else was.
Yeah, I know. But it was different after he get me into this system. Because then he could tell me, you come and stay for 1.5 months now, and you get paid for your 1.5 month. You know, you can stay over even more. And then he know that when the date I'm coming, he can find this big route, and only route for the whole time for
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah.
And he has his killer, you know, for 5 months, 6 months. And then I come and he...
and he brought.
And I have to see yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
He talked this kind of subject in the winter time, Buko many time in the winter time.
Why did he wait
Yeah.
so long to say about this?
Because it was not really needed to explain the sound system, but it was stories starting to fill in all the things where we are making statements without that we can really back it up with the information of what has been happening. Because then it's like I said yesterday when we talk here, you know, the Bock family, they could talk about much more than that what they have been telling us. Because they have hundreds of millions of years of history. So if you are born in that family, you know, all that story that we listen in 20 years, I think Ior know it when he's 9,
Yeah, okay.
basically, or 10,
Yeah, right, okay.
or 11, or 12. So they had, of course, all this other detail, what they have in order to back up their story. But because it's so long time, it's a story of hundreds of million years. What are you going to tell to these people?
And we're still offering to Lemminkäinen after.
Yeah, they have also offering systems, one Sven and that.
So it went to Uppsala and then it still went to Lemminkäinen,
Yeah, they went Åbo.
to Turku.
Yeah, he had to
Okay.
come to Uppsala, to Turku from Uppsala.
And then it went to
And then
Rosengård.
Tur went to
Rosengård.
Turku.
Yeah.
From
okay.
Uppsala.
This is Tur in Åbo or in Turku. So Tur, you know, is the Norse name for this Seppo. So Seppo is going there to catch. So he's going out actually from Udma, but only to Turku and to
Nyslot.
Saaremaa.
Nyslot.
En Saaremaa to
To
Ösel.
Saaremaa.
Ösel.
Saaremaa.
Yeah, this island.
Saaremaa.
Saaremaa, yeah.
Saaremaa.
Yeah, this
no shit.
island land. Saari.
But Sodom is.
Yeah, also
Sa-
a bit there.
No, Saarenmaa.
Oh,
So,
Saarenmaa.
Yeah.
Oh, Saarenmaa.
And this is the Sarmatian in the history book. All over Russia you find Sarmatian and Scythian. Sarmat is from this Saaremaa. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was a castle place. Åbo was castle place. And Nyslot was castle place. So he had 3. And there you go to 1 and 2 and 3. And come back always. And now when he come back, he's full of Sweden, he's full of all of Europe, and then he's full of Russia.
So the Austrians knew that these Swedes were over there then?
They made them come.
Well, they made them
Of
come.
course. Don't worry.
Okay, I didn't have that part of the story, yeah. Okay. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the
See-
We'll go off of the... We go off of the... And there's another good restaurant. You go up to the next level, all the way to Väinämöinen called the Mango Tree.
Oh yeah, that's where I stayed the first night across from Lemminkäinen. Is there a ditch here, or can I?
I don't know. Maybe let's get out first and see what you got, so we don't get stuck.
Seems to be a very old oak over there, but it kind of shows this stone as somehow center part. But that's Google.
two oaks with a stump between is the way I remember it. This looks like a hole somebody dug here when they were looking. I think this is one of the oaks here, and this is the other one of these. I remember the two oaks that maybe I'm standing on.
So that's that one, if they're that close. Ice cream box. It says Ior Bock on it. It's very light. There is a pen and paper in a plastic box. Some toys, some Kinder egg toys, and a notepad dating to last year. And here's just some toys and a 5-cent.
Oh, this is from last year.
Yeah. Do you know the names? Yeah, and some coordinates. Placed 18th of April 2009 by Ringlabro. It's a lot of dates. It seems like everyone puts their, because it just goes up and up and up.
Many names though.
Many names. Mark when they come. 13/7/2013. Kasken trying to find golden bock. We can continue on this side.
Yeah, we continue here.
25/7/2019.
Why would they put it over here now?
It's easy to hide, maybe. That was fun.
That was the score. This Osra people, or the Bock family, they knew there would be 3 Ragnaroks. The first Ragnarok was when the planet tilted over and we get this ice age from the Paradise Famine. Second Ragnarok is when they had to come out of the ice 10,035 years ago. And they came out from hell and they went to the Gotland. But they knew there was a third Ragnarok. In this third Ragnarok, this church, this new Christian church, was coming in 2 different directions. They knew that on the east side, they were coming up towards Russia and the Greek Orthodox. And they were coming up towards Sweden, this Roman Catholic. And this tiny, ancient heathen country in the middle of Finland, they knew that soon this church would come one way and the other way, and they would be trapped between, and they didn't know which one would come. But in 1050, Pope Leo IX, he sent one mercenary army from the Vatican. And this army, paid by the Vatican, they came to Sweden, and they went to one island called Åland, and they killed everybody on this island. And from Åland, they came over to hell, and they made one ring around hell, this mercenary army. And they went from a ring of 250 kilometers, this army circled hell, and they came to the middle, and they killed and they burned everybody. And they killed most all the inhabitants. A few of these men swam out to the archipelago, where they were used as rowers in this Battle of Hastings in 1066. But this Bock family, they knew they had to go into exile because the church was after this family, the oldest family on the planet. And before they left, they had some things that they had to leave behind. They couldn't take with them, because the king line went up to a castle called Kajani, and this Bock side of the family went up to the Corvertun tree.
And they had the throne and the stool that goes through the throne. They had 2 golden Bock statues, life-size, solid gold. And they had 3 crystal balls. And one of these crystal balls was from the Paradise time. And one was from under the ice, and one is for the future. And they could have had even some more things that they brought to this place called Offerlunden. This was one ancient offering system. And they came from the Rasapuri to this hill here, in this lund, this small grove in English. And they buried these 2 golden Bocks, these 3 crystal balls, this crown, I mean not the crown, but the throne and the footpall or the stool to the crown of Finland, an ancient kingdom of the north. And they buried these things in this hill here, and they planted 3 small oak trees on top. And then they left to get out away from these church so they couldn't be killed, because we couldn't let this family be killed by this church, because they're the ones who had this story. And they planted 3 small oak trees. And the one behind Sasha is one of these oak trees, the one behind me and is the other one. And in 1987 we came with Ior, and there was a stump to the third that had been cut down. And then they left, they went to the north. Now, we came back and we see holes dug here where people have come to try to find. In the 1987, we had these 2 ladies that had some kind of a plumb bob story where they could try to find this metal in the ground. We've had other people come with metal detectors, but so far we haven't been able to get a location of these things. But somewhere underneath where I sit are these things that they had buried in 1050 before they left. And I don't know that there's so much more to say. When Ior died, after the funeral, we came over here and we built 5 fires for the Ior, and we spent the whole evening here after the funeral. And since then, we've had other people come try to locate these things, but at some time, we'll have to dig up this hill and find these golden objects and this throne and this footstool to the king of Finland. The Finnish people have no idea that they ever had a king or queen. They have the name Kuningas, Kuningatar, but in their history, they lost their history in 1050. So if you go to the museum today, they have no story about who was living here before 1050, and they find fishing nets 9,000 years old. They find a settlement that's 130,000 to 450,000 years. So this land that we sit, this place has a special energy to it. But somewhere between this oak tree and the oak tree behind me, there are these things, and one day we have to take these up. It's very difficult to get the permission to come dig this up. I don't know really who owns this land now, but sometime in the future we'll, besides the Lemminkäinen temple, we have a golden Bock in the crown and the scepter in Kajaani. So we have these 3 locations that things are underneath the earth. At the Lemminkäinen temple, the Offerlunden. Offer means to offer, and lund means a grove of trees. So somewhere underneath where I'm sitting right now are these things that at one time we have to dig up so these Finnish people can see that they really had a king and queen. Today they have these names, but they mean nothing to them. Ku, in the Finnish language, Ku means the moon, and As are the Asar people. So the Kuningas, he's the As that represents Ku, the moon. And underneath here is his throne and his stool. They should be made out of gold. And they could be from the Paradise time. They could be very, very, very old. It's a very lovely place here, and I sit here with my two friends, and we make this video.